community. In this video, I really want to dispel some of the misconceptions about this new proposal that's come from Hugo. And it's not even been proposed yet, so, you know, I see a lot of people really fanning the flames of the fire, really trying to provoke a reaction with people, but you really need to understand a lot of different things before we actually get into this, and the details haven't been released yet, as I said. So the first thing I want to do is bring you to this page here and give you the definition of what a proposal actually is. A proposal is a plan or suggestion, especially a formal or written one, put forward for consideration by others. A proposal is not set in stone. It's a proposal, it's a suggestion. It doesn't mean that it will be implemented, and basically the people who have a stake in the network will get to vote on this proposal. I also want to bring you to a definition here about democracy. So in this particular example here, which I guess relates more to a decentralized autonomous organization, which FLR will become, democracy is a control of an organization or group by the majority of its members. So if the majority of people decide that this proposal is not good, then it will not happen. And on the flip side, if many people think that it is a good idea, then it will happen. You go with the majority. What does the majority want to do? Now, you may be wondering what this proposal actually is, and we don't have all the details yet, as I said, but this was something that was actually mentioned in Bearable Bull's recent interview with Hugo Fillion. So let's have a quick look at that.
Something I'll ask on top of that, kind of along those lines, is the exchanges, right? You know, a lot of...
I was going to cover the exchanges. Okay, so all the exchanges are, you know, everyone's terrified about them, and for good reason. Thankfully, the largest exchanges will probably be okay. Hopefully, most of them will be okay for the next couple of months whilst we distribute the token. Now, I'm putting in a governance proposal that changes the way the token is distributed so that it's distributed through the FTSO. So that you get your initial 15% and the rest is distributed through the FTSO. Governance proposal will be out very soon. One of the core ideas behind that proposal is it means that we don't have to distribute over 3 years directly to exchanges, because obviously every additional month is another month that an exchange can go bankrupt. And so we hope that most of the exchanges will still be around by the time we do the initial distribution. And then once you get those tokens, that you're then safe. You get the tokens from the exchange, you're safe. You can then delegate them on the FTSO to receive the rest of the distribution.
Nice. That
solves the 3-year problem with distributing directly to exchanges, and that changes the risk dynamic. It basically takes the risk away from the exchange going bankrupt. That proposal is really important. I hope it'll be adopted. Expect it will. That'll be out very soon.
So for me, it really does make sense. And we have Jungle here saying that many people won't be able to delegate in time, and that these exchanges will likely take months to release the coins. And, you know, this is irrelevant because the vote is not going to take place until exchanges have released at least 75% of the tokens. So hence the bulk of the tokens will be able to delegate, right? So this isn't something that's just going to happen all of a sudden. You know, first of all, we need to get through the observation period, which lasts around 8 or more weeks. And after that, we need to wait until FLR has been distributed and withdrawn from exchanges, or at least the majority of it. So this is not just being sprung on the community. This is something that you know of months in advance, quite literally months in advance. Now, I think this is really important to note as well. FLR now serves many networks, making the opportunity very much larger. It didn't before. Those that come from FLR, from outside of XRP, must be able to participate on equal terms going forward. if you are receiving the initial distribution, you are in a highly privileged position. And I completely agree with Hugo here. The fact that we've even received 15% of an asset that is completely free, you know, this opportunity was not made available to everyone. Now, here we go. I just want to wrap up on this quick thread here. And it seems that the majority of people who have problems with this proposal, saying that the FLR has been stolen in some sense, it seems like those are the people who actually sold the FLR. So I'm going to read through this thread really quickly. Hugo is proposing that you need to delegate your 15% of FLR in order to get the remaining 85%. So the people who sold their initial 15% in the form of IOUs on Bitrue now lose out on their 85%, and whoever bought them gets that person's 85%. Literal theft. Well, it's certainly not, you know, Mr. Use Case got this asset dropped to him for absolutely free. He cashed in, which is obviously his own decision. And again, the only two exchanges which implemented IOUs were Bitrue and Poloniex, so this affects just a very small majority. Now, speaking of majority, you know, I wanted to know which price Mr. Use Case sold his IOUs at. Now, here is a chart of the FLR to USD price, and you know, if you did sell your FLR IOUs, you can see that you'd have to be pretty unlucky to sell them at a lower price than it is now. So anyone who sold in this area here, and this spans many months, you can see that this is the daily chart, meaning each candle represents one day. There's a period here of over half a year where if you sold FLR, you would now actually be able to accumulate more than what you sold. If we scroll down here, we can see that Mr. Use Case sold FLR for 0.1 XRP. So he's not too happy about that, and he's saying that the rules have changed, and you know, the rules have not changed. This is a proposal, and we went over the definitions before. If enough people decide that this is a good thing, then it will change the process, and if not, the process will not change, and this is just democracy. I really wasn't going to make this video today, but I thought that it was important to highlight some of these fundamental things that people are failing to understand. The proposal vote is not going to take place for months yet, and the proposal is that it is just a proposal. The result of the proposal will be based on what the majority collectively think. Now, I personally think it's a good idea because relying on exchanges for a period of 3 years, in my opinion, is very risky, and I'm sure people would love to get the FLR distributed directly to their wallets. So finally, just to wrap up here, you may have noticed that my voice has been a little bit raspy and I may not have been my usual self, but that's because I do unfortunately have COVID. So please bear with me over the next couple of days. And with that being said, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, I'm out.
Mission Control, we have liftoff.